Welcome back, everyone, to another round of Moonlight in the Graveyard. I'm your host, Grave Knives, coming to you with my co-host, Grave Dank. And
How's it
tonight,
going, everybody?
we're just going to be chilling and chatting about a couple, I don't know, some personal stories, if you will, like some ghost and alien stories. I've seen some shit. I've made mention of it a number of times in the past. So finally, we're actually going to sit down tonight and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell these damn stories. Because why the hell not? There is a number of, there's like countless, really countless ghost stories I could tell. If you don't know, I work in a field where my environment encounters a lot of death. I mean, not like every day, but more than enough. Plenty. So you tend to have these little encounters with, it's long-term care. It's long-term care, nursing, and of course, a lot of people pass on. Now, the specific facility that I'm at right now, I gotta say that's probably the most active place that I've ever been at. I honestly can't say if there's history behind it or not. If it's just exceptionally older, I don't think it is. It sure as hell doesn't seem older than your most average buildings. Hell, I've seen some pretty damn old buildings, and they didn't have shit for ghost activity. But then again, maybe they were just so crappy. Like even the ghosts were like, "Fuck this, I'm out. I'm not hanging around here."
Quick question: when was the town established? Do you know?
Couldn't even begin to tell you, but that's how we do it here. There's good vital information that should have had pulled up, but we didn't. And where were you with these questions before the show? No,
But it's historic. Some of the buildings there are actually pretty old.
it's just definitely a much older town. It's a rural, small town. So of course this place has probably been one of few in the local area for an extended period of time. Now, there we do have a lockdown unit, and then we have which the lockdown, that's just what it's called, and I refer to it as the lockdown unit. Basically, I mean, it sounds worse than what it is, just because that's what it was called back in the day when I worked there the first time. But it's where they house the dementia, the extremely confused individuals, the people that will literally walk right out the door and right in front of traffic or in front of a train and not even blink an eye because they're not there. So it's not like, oh, we got to be mean. No, it's do our best to, keep them from just getting murked. But that's a lovely professional medical term, by the way. I learned that in school, murked. Anyways, no. So, but no, there's been, the unit is definitely, funny enough, the two halls, because there's about 4 wings, and I've only really encountered something on 2 of the 4 wings. Probably spent close to, over 3 years in that building as far as working. And the more recent ones that occurred were pretty bizarre. And it's funny how they mostly happen whenever I'm solo. These things will happen to you majority of the time when you're by yourself, but not every single one of them happened by myself. As a matter of fact, there was one specific night where I actually had a partner there with me, and she got freaked out, and she was like, hell no. She's like, let's go. And I'm like, no, calm down. I'm like, it's not going to get us, but we'll get to that story too. But most of the time it's just been one-on-one. But I'll go ahead and we'll begin with the I guess the oldest story. The first thing that I actually would still be, also because it was my second job as a CNA. It would be my first encounter in a nursing home, period, with a fucking spirit entity or whatever. And even though like that's something I've been around my entire life since I was a kid, I was rather desensitized to it. Didn't bug me. Yeah, this one was different. I mean, it wasn't completely different, but it did something different that I had never got to experience. And real quick, let me go ahead and pull up now for your added. Go ahead and try to make a visual aid for y'all out there. I actually put together a extremely crude and horribly drawn, not the skull, that. Oh my goodness, Dank. My apologies. There you go.
Screen shared.
I was say you can see it now too, right?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I totally forgot.
So that's like the building?
This is a hallway. Okay, right here is a hallway. And these like little lines here, these two little green doors or green lines, those are to represent just, if you will, exit and enter and exit points. Now, at this point in time, I was working a night shift. And when you work night shift down there, and actually even still to this day, the nurse doesn't really go back there. The med nurses are up front, doing their charting and passing any pills they have to, whereas we go down there and we're actually usually the CNA is by themselves. Back in the day, I don't know how it is now exactly because I haven't worked back there since I've been back. I just don't have a desire to. It's different coordinators. Anyways. You would go back there by yourself. Mm-hmm. You'd have the keys. And the thing is, like, this door up at the top here at the end,
right?
Mm-hmm. That one actually just goes outside to a courtyard. And you can't come in from the outside. It's locked. You can only get out. And if you do open the door, there's this box at the top that is louder than a fucking fire alarm. To let you know that door just got opened. I mean, it's to alert you, hey, someone's going out the door. It's to prevent elopement, It's to prevent, especially with us being right next to the train tracks. Yeah. And I've chatted with you before as the train's gone by. It's right there. I could literally hit it with a fucking rock as it goes by by throwing it. And I throw like a girl, I'm telling you. No. Anyways, so these squawk boxes will make a shit ton of noise.
Right.
Now, over the years, there's been some little bit of remodeling and stuff. There is, right here in this little area, there is actually a shower room, bathroom for the unit. This used to be the dining room. Back when my encounter happened, the small room was actually the dining room, and this was the living room where there was a TV up here at the top. And was that a fire alarm?
No, that's my dryer.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn. I was like, fire alarm going off? Is someone trying to elope?
Sorry about that.
Someone trying to get out? No, you're fine. You're fine. Anyways, there'd be this big-ass screen TV. So basically, what you would do when you were working the unit, you would plant your ass about here in a chair, and, you would do your rounds, but you would sit here so that you would have a clear view of the entire hall. Now, these would be how the rooms are, okay? This is kind of how they stack them together so that, compresses as many rooms in a small space as possible. Also in the living room, there is a doorway that goes into a hallway out to the front. That door stays locked. The only person with a key is me and the med nurse. There's 2 keys. So if you don't have a key, you can't get through. So how it went, I was, the reason why I got the stars here too, this one would be a representation of me. So it was, I was doing rounds. And by rounds, we go through, we do bed checks, check on people. Well, I ended up having, had a full bed to change on a lady. I got her whole bed changed, got her all cleaned up, taken care of. And I'm walking out of the room. Now, as I'm holding my linen out like this, one of the big things you don't do, like it's against like state, regs, whatever, you're not supposed to, put dirty to clean. So I'm not supposed to put that stuff on the floor, right? Well, okay, so I walked out the door, and which would be out this door right here, out of this room. My linen cart was sitting right here, or the dirty linen barrels was right there. But as soon as I walked out, I seen who I thought was a gentleman who was from this room over here. Like, as soon as I walked out, I looked up, holding this linen, seen right around that corner, plain as day, plain as absolute fucking day. Guy just walks right past the corner. And I'm like, oh shit, because here's the big thing about Alzheimer's and dementia, especially late at night. If one of them gets up, you can easily either give them a snack, sit and talk with them, whatever. You'll get them to go back to bed easy enough, no problem. If you let them get into someone else's room, like who I thought it was that was walking around, this individual had a tendency to unmake beds, and it's like a domino effect, and it's a nightmare when it starts to happen because you'll wake one up, that one will wake the next one up, then they'll be getting up, they'll start bouncing around the halls, waking everybody else up. And then it's like it's 1 versus 22 at that point. Good times. I've done it, but it's good times. So anyways, see this guy passing around the corner. What do? Literally just instinctively throw the stuff off to the side. It landed across the soil barrels. But I mean, I just sprinted, dead sprint, and we're probably talking 30 feet from here to here. Man, no. 50 feet. 50 feet, my apologies. About maybe 50 feet. Mm-hmm. But regardless, I was 10 years younger, and I definitely, I shot off like a bullet. Mm-hmm. And it took me about a second and a half, and as I came around the corner, nobody was there. The doors. Oh, go ahead.
There's a bunch of doors right there, it looks like.
Those are rooms. Those are all the rooms. And that's just it. The doors themselves are all closed. I don't know. I guess they may have did this on purpose, but it's like they never oiled those fucking doors. You can't open a door at night. When it's chill down there, you don't have TV going or anything like that. And I wasn't really one to watch TV because it would put me to sleep while, I didn't want. But you'll hear any and every door, every click, every pop, every it's loud as shit actually. Mm-hmm. And but that did not happen, nor was there time. That door was shut too. On top of that, I still proceeded into the room. And I did a little sweep through, checked that people that were in bed sleeping. So then I shot right back across the hallway to the person's room who I thought it was. I mean, gentleman's passed on. It was a guy named Harold. And I thought it was fucking Harold 100%. I mean, I seen what he was wearing. I seen his head. I seen his hairstyle, the color of his hair. It had just his build. I mean, seen this guy walking right in front of me. I go into Harold's room across the hall. Harold's asleep in bed. So then I go ahead because I'm like, well, then who the hell's up? Who's moving around? What's going on? So I start at the end of the hall like we do and start bam, bam from room zigzagging back, hitting all these rooms, doing head counts. Everybody's in bed. Nobody's up. No one was moving around. Again, even if they had went through another bathroom, I would have found them. But again, all my people were accounted for, so it was like, who was my extra person? I didn't say anything about it really. Didn't talk about it. But I had a med nurse, one of my supervising nurses on nights. His name is Eric. Cool guy, real cool guy. Good nurse, laid back, Anyways, I were outside about 3 o'clock in the morning, having a cigarette, talking, bullshitting. And I'm like, man, I want to tell you something about this, that I just seen. I'm like, it's kind of like, it's getting me. It's like, I got to tell somebody, and I don't want to fucking tell the women, whatever. And because they either be scared or they'll tell me I'm crazy, whatever. enough people think I'm crazy enough as it is. So anyways, I started explaining to him what I seen. The thing was is I didn't tell Eric what he was wearing. But Eric told me what he was wearing because Eric had seen him before. Eric had actually seen it, and what he was wearing was brown sweats. He was wearing a brown sweatshirt and brown sweatpants, fucking yellow socks, slipper socks. That's basically what we give all of our residents because they, shoes are usually, they don't want to walk around wearing shoes all day, but you don't want them walking around on tile floor in bare feet, So slipper socks, they got these little grippies on them. Anyways, that's what he was wearing. He had the white hair going around the side of his head, bald on top. Kind of like what I would look like if I let my hair grow out. So anyways, I don't have white hair yet. Anyways. So I found that pretty wild, I was like, holy shit, Eric. I'm like, you're telling me about, what the dude's fucking wearing. And I had not told anybody at work. That whole, this had just happened. So for him to be able to be like, and the reason why he said, yeah, that's the corner peeker. He's like, I've seen him before too, He's like, have you seen the nurse yet? And I was like, the what? He was like, yeah, the nurse, she'll be walking around here too. You'll see her go from room to room sometimes, carrying a tray. And I found it interesting because it's kind of weird because I had to correct some people nowadays with the modern day, 10 years later, whatever, I'm back. And some were like mentioning hearing the wheels turn. I'm like, hey, guess what? That nurse wouldn't have been a nurse during the period of time we had med carts. It would have been during the time when they put their meds in a cup in the med room and carried the tray out and took it to their patients. Carried a tray. Very different. And
what would the cart sound be from then?
Maybe it shouldn't actually sound like anything. Maybe like a thump, thump, thump. They said it's been described the sound though that people say they hear before she shows up or whatever is almost like a wooden train or something. Like if you were pulling a wooden train along on a string, you could hear the wheels kind of like a creak, but not, I had a wooden train, so I know the damn sound. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try to mimic it because then I'll sound like a jackass. No. Anyways.
Yeah.
But I did correct him on that. I'm like, I don't think that'd be possible because, like I said, 10 years prior to that, I heard nothing about a whining, creaking noise, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. Never seen the nurse back then, and I only seen the corner peeker that one time. But I did, mind you, like I said, whenever I wasn't doing my bed checks, I knew where to keep my chair. I kept my chair right here in the center because I could see into the dining room. Well, there's more about right here. Because I could see to the dining room right there, but nobody could get past me. That was the key thing. Nobody could get past me from any point or get to an exit without me seeing them. And so anyways, but there'd be nights I'd be sitting back there just chilling, and the distinctive noise of hearing someone with a walker when they walk, that pickup, that click clack, and because you don't just hear the flat wheels or the flat ends, because some of them have wheels on the front, and whenever there are little plastic wheels on the posts, whatever, whenever they click, they make an extra, like a little plastic click noise. Whenever they walk with their walker like that. 2 different nights. I sat there and
they got tennis balls on
that's on the back. No, really, that's on the back. It's actually to help them be able to roll, but honestly, it's really not that safe. Because a lot of them are like, you need to pick it up. Because the grippies on the back, that's so you don't fucking slide out and go and fall. So let's put fucking cloth. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Anyways. But no, for 2 different nights, I sat there and I'd sit there and I kept listening to someone in the dining room, which was the dining room at the time, this little room, walking around. I kept hearing a walker walking around. I'd lean right back. There was nothing there. Just go back to fucking watching TV or doing what I was charting, whatever. And I'm like, whatever. I don't have a patient back there, being a fall risk. So, whatever, Ghost. Do what you want.
Interesting.
And that was it. That was pretty much it for my first run there. And I was there for almost a couple of years.
Just random sounds in the one site of that guy.
Mm-hmm. But again, I cannot emphasize enough how solid that guy was. Like, I mean, just as solid as me looking at you.
No see-through.
No see-through whatsoever. There was no transparency. Like, I thought it was a person. I thought it was my resident. I thought my patient was running away. I was like, fuck! Get him!
Interesting. Is he always seen on the same hall?
You know what? The corner peeker is not something that I have heard anyone mention seeing the full bodied ever. People talk about seeing two different things, which I do believe they're seeing the corner peeker because more modern times this past year that I've been working there is most definitely I've had the privilege of working, as you know, I've had the privilege of working the isolation COVID, or what we call the transition hall, recovery transition. Basically, if you come in new, or if you're sick for anything, if you're on isolation for whatever reason, you're mine. You're on my wing and you're under my care, and I do the best fucking job that I possibly can. Being down there, though, one of my strict things, because I don't know, I tend to be strict about certain things, and keeping that goddamn door closed at the end of the wing, because isolation is isolation, is one of my pet peeves, and it's always been this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But just as that does, it isolates me off from everybody. Granted, I'm a pretty self-sufficient individual. Rarely do I need help. There has been so many times in this past year, me being down there, of one thing after another happening. But let's go ahead and get back before that even happened, before that even went down. Me and my partner, Sam, were out there doing our rounds one night. And it was actually on the wing that I work now. We're coming out of the end room. Okay, the very end room on the right, we're coming out. And there's a little walkway alongside the building there. Street lamps. Little light posts, whatever, going down, so it lights the walkway up pretty good. The people in this room wanted their blinds slightly opened. Their personal choice. Usually I'm against it, but whatever. So I had it cracked to a point, to an angle. Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, my partner was heading out in front of me. And as she was going out, I was behind her, and I was turning off the light switch. Now, when I did that, the light behind me, from the angle it casted a perfect square over the against the wall, across the hall from me. And about that time, this all really simultaneously happened almost all at once. I heard a strange, I thought it was like a crack noise. Sam thought I had dropped my keys and kicked them across the hall. Mm-hmm. I had not. But at the same time of hearing that noise, I watched a shadow of someone bigger than me walk behind. I seen the shadow on the wall. So, I don't know if the shadow was actually walking across the wall there, or if I was seeing something that was passing behind me as I was standing there. I mean, I definitely, I don't, again, I'm not running away down the hall, but if you think I just stood there and kept my ass facing that direction, hell no. I did a fast little ninja twirl around, and I'm like, whoa, what was that? And, Sam was like, what'd you do? Would you drop your keys? I was like, no, I didn't drop no keys. Sam was like, what was that? I explained the whole thing to her. She's like, come on, let's get out of here. I'm not doing this. Sam talks about seeing a little girl.
And the light didn't go out or anything?
What do you mean?
The crack noise wasn't the bulb going out?
Oh, no. That's a different. That's a whole that's later on. That was after isolation had begun. That was after COVID. This first story was before COVID. However, that room that you mentioned right there about the flickering light,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally right across the hall from where that happened. It's literally the room right across the hall, which is also where my office was before I had to give that up because of needing it for patients. So whatever. But it was a makeshift office. Anyways. So no, what he's talking about there, he knows about the lights flickering and the a new meeting of somebody. But anyways, they now this is what I think was the dark thing that they see. Because they talk about seeing a dark thing and they see a white thing. You know, something black and they see something white. You know, the women do. They talk about that's what they see. They don't. That's what kind of gets me. They don't see a full-bodied apparition ever.
Mm-hmm.
But they somehow, they are catching glimpses of it. So, you know, I would sit down in that office, what we were just talking about, literally across the hall from that room. Mind you, at this point, those people are done out of that room because they weren't sick. They weren't in isolation. They didn't need to be down there. That room was actually being remodeled, as a matter of fact, too. So it was locked, closed off for pretty much almost a whole year, damn near. And, but I can't tell you night after night how many times I'd be sitting there in my chair, either trying to chart, and I would listen to somebody. I would hear the bilateral steps just stepping towards me, you know, down the hall. I would almost always thought I heard a door shut too, like the two doors at the end, because they just swing open. You just push them open. They're not locked or anything. You don't have a bar that you have to push to unlock them. They literally just swing on open. But I would always think that I would hear that door kind of tap, and then I would wait a few seconds, and I would hear someone walking down and getting closer. And about that time, I would just roll my chair right out the door because there was the door right next to me. Poke my head right out. Nothing. Over and over and over. Countless times. It got so, you know, I would just be like, I'd look out and be like, whatever, you know.
And the sounds never continued when you went looking?
No. Whenever I stuck my head around the corner and looked out there, they would stop.
Silence.
But then, like, you know what, 10 minutes later, I'd hear it happen again. You know? And it kind of got me because, like, but now, however, this actually all kind of starts to connect back by the end story, my one of my last encounters. I can also say, too, I've never had, if you will, a spiritual entity make a physical contact with me. This place I did. But so we'll go ahead and get to that. There was a night, and actually somebody witnessed me jumping like a freaking cricket off the freaking ground. Like, I mean, I jumped and spun. Man, I was freaked out because I leaned down to raise someone's head of their bed up, and the moment I leaned over, mind you, you've seen the gear that I wear on me. I don't dress light. I'm not like your average nerd. No, I'm a different breed of CNA altogether. But my gear, whatever, I don't know. My stuff stays fitted to me properly. When I leaned over and I was cranking this head up, it felt like somebody took their two fingers and just went right across from one side of my back to the other. And it would be more like I guess lower back, if you will. Not really so much mid. It would be lower mid back. I don't know how you would say, but kind of almost right around above the waist. You know, it's like, and they just, thing was, my shirt didn't go up. Like, the back of my shirt never raised. So it's not like my back was exposed for something to, like, fly by me or something like that. No. And, I mean, it was very distinct. And there was a lady there that was younger. She was probably, I'd say, in her 50s. And at most, not even that. She wasn't even that. But she see me, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" She's like, "What happened? What's wrong with you?" And I was like, I just kind of turned around. I looked at her. I was like, "Did you see anything?" She was like, just you jumping? And I was like, nothing happened. It was like, nothing happened at all.
Was there any other signs, like maybe like a temperature change in the room? Did you feel cold?
Actually, prior to that, and I mean, like, within weeks of prior to that, 2 people had passed away in that room. But I still don't think that's what it was. But the temperature, see, that's his thing. Like, I will keep my hall cool. That's my rule of infection control and stuff. I keep my people warm. I don't freeze them out. But as far as, like, the central hall and all that, I keep that cool. I keep that as cool as possible. That's what we're supposed to do. Anyways, they, so they come about later on. So I've been touched. I've now been molested by something, you know. And I'm like, I mean, and honestly, that freaked. I don't want to say it freaked me out. I mean, but it like made my eyes like, holy shit! I actually had something touch me for the first time, and I mean, it was very, it was unmistakable. I mean, I just 2 fingers across the back. It was like it was like as I was leaning down and cranking that, it's like somebody just walked past me and dragged their fingers across my side. And again, didn't feel like there was a shirt in between us either. It felt like someone's bare fingers across my bare back. That was like
with warmth.
Huh?
With warmth?
You know what? No, not with warmth. It felt like cold fingers that went across my back. Yeah, there definitely was not any warmth in that. But see, I'm pretty cold-natured, if you will. I mean, like, I like the cold. I'm used to the cold. But I could definitely tell it wasn't warm.
You didn't get, like, scratched?
No, never been scratched. See, that's where I'm kind of going with this. Like, too, that, like, these things, no matter what they've done, no matter what they've popped, there's a reason why I'm not intimidated by them, why I'm not afraid of them. They've never once ever done anything or even exposed themselves to be negative or aggressive towards me. They have made very, very active, very willful acts to get my attention. I mean, very deliberately willful acts to get my attention, which is, again, a couple first-timers with this, being down this hall. That Dean Touch thing would definitely be one. Then there was then it came to a point where, see, at that point, we had just been doing transition. We hadn't actually had a confirmed for a patient yet in our building. But transition still was to be treated for the first 2 weeks, and you would basically move up the hall, and you would make your way off the hall after your time period. At least that's how it was supposed to go. Then eventually we got a confirmed finally. So then the wall went up and all this stuff, and ISO, you had the recovery area, you had transition, then you had the clear. That plastic wall took off, like, I can actually kind of give you an idea of, like, right here. Like, it went right through here. It would have sealed off those last 4 rooms is what it did. The plastic did. That was for the confirmed COVID patients. If we had more, we would move it up and, add more to it if we needed. But anyway, so there is this big ass wall, wooden frame, half-ass sturdy wooden frame. They built it, not knocking them. They built it like super fucking fast. They just called them up. They're like, get it up. And they're like, with what? And yeah. It was a fucking mess.
Call someone who makes houses.
The maintenance guy did it, man. He fucking ran in there, man. Him and another one of the male CNAs on days, they both came in and fucking smashed it together. They did a good job. As far as any department heads that came in, they did a good job. The rest of them were kind of... Anyway, so not going to get into that. So there's this wall of plastic. Now, it would have been in this room right here. Now, if we're looking out to my 200 hall wing, which is basically the wall, the halls are damn near built the same. The only difference is on the other ones, you don't have these 2 big rooms. You don't have those, you have regular rooms continuing on. Anyways, I had gone in this room to help a lady. She needed to go use the restroom. You know, she wanted to get up. No problem, you know. So I'm there. I'm getting her. I'm knelt down, and I'm getting her shoes on. Now, we had a patient. The patient that was in that back room, too, fall risk issue, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get into the details exactly, like, too much of, like, how it was saved. But trust me when I say something saved my ass that night. Not just my ass. So anyways, as I'm sitting down, I'm kneeling down, I'm putting this lady's shoes on down here in this room. I swear, plain as day, I watched something white run down this way towards, like, because this is the exit. There's an exit going, an emergency fire exit, whatever. You know, I use that door myself. But something shooting down this way, running. And I looked and I just fucking see something run by. I was like, that was weird, you know, but I was like, whatever, you know, I got my patient, I'm taking care of my patient. I ain't got time to go fucking fiddle fart around and hunt ghosts. So, I continue on with what I'm doing. Next thing you know, woo, right back up the opposite way. Same thing, white, ran right past the door. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I took my person into the bathroom. You know, they were not someone that I had to be right next to constantly. So, you know, I got them in there. I'm like, I'll be back. You know, I'm going to just go check on a couple things, whatever, look around. Because honestly, Sam loves to try and scare me. Mm-hmm. And I figured Sam was running around out there. Sam wasn't running around out there. I got, actually, ironically, where this blue star is. I swear, got right where that blue star is. This is on a different wing, though. And the plastic goes along here. And I was getting into a drawer, getting out bags. All of a sudden, and I don't mean like, yeah, there'd be a breeze and that plastic would move. But I'm like talking like you take a Ziploc bag if you wanted to understand and hold it tight and have it kind of out. And just fucking snap that motherfucker with the end of your fingers as hard as you can. And that is what came at me from the other side of that fucking plastic. I bounced into the wall jumping back because I thought something was coming at me from across that plastic. And I was like, what the fuck? Again, my mind, you know, I've got lights and everything on me, but my mind, you know, I'm like, whoa, you know what's up? I'm like, Sam, you're going to get yourself hurt because I'm convinced it's Sam. I'm like, her ass done ran onto the other side of the plastic, and she's over there trying to fuck with me. I get my light out. Fucking start going through, go through the opening and everything, looking around. I don't see nothing. I make it to this back room, and I look in there. There's my patient, my recovery patient. Pretty much her alarm has been deactivated. It's not going to sound until it's too late, basically, in the position that she was. Hanging out of the bed, about to fall. And I was just like, she had been carrying it with me. It's a pressure thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And if you, like, keep pressure on it, it don't go off. And she's about to go out of this bed. And I was like, oh, shit. I mean, it was like, fucking slide the gown on, run over, grab her, and you're like, no. It took me, I don't know, as soon as she was like, safely to where she wasn't about to fall. I said the very next thing I did was I said thank you. Mm-hmm. Because that saved her from getting hurt. That saved me from having to do a whole bunch of bullshit for something,
Right.
But yeah, and that's when it kind of clicked what that was. That was the nurse. I had officially got to meet the nurse. So, that walking, that was a nurse. Time and time again, I'd be down in that office at the end, this little room down here by myself.
Yeah.
Not doing anything special. Not even thinking about anything. And it would be like an electrical charge just shoot up my arms. It was a static charge that would just go across my arms constantly. And it wouldn't be like constantly, but like it happened a lot, man. Where I'd just be sitting there and be like, okay. You know, I don't know, maybe it was a different way of touching me than as opposed to when it rubbed its fingers across my back.
Right.
Hell, there was a night I was standing out back, and I was standing there, and something came up and poked me, not once, twice, in my right shoulder. Poked me. And I was like, all right, I'm coming in. Walked in, you know, I'll have a conversation, you know, or whatever I'll respond to in a casual
Like, look
manner.
around.
You know, I already knew what the fuck it was at this point. Nobody was out there. I had my back, you know, right. There was a corner. You know, my back was into a corner, and I felt someone go.
Oh, damn.
You know, there was nobody there. I knew what it was. I was like, all right, I'm on my way in. So, I don't know, wild, crazy shit like that. I mean, like, it's unique. I can tell you even more ghost stories, you know, about that house, you know, with Abraham Lincoln hanging out in the window.
Yeah, my homie.
Babe Lincoln, what? No, so that's pretty much, yeah, that's it. I mean, I could go on with some of these more stories, but, yeah, that's pretty good. Besides, I want to save something for another day, right, for ghost stories. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a lot. More than what I should. I feel like shit gravitates to me sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And,
That's what they say about paranormal things.
Yeah, it kind of... I mean, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it. Of course, I absolutely fucking enjoy it. 110%. I mean, how can I not? It's a connection of something that is not... It's something special. Which,
Right.
if anything, you know, regardless if to be special or not, you know, I'm not saying you do, but kind of makes you feel special. Hell yeah. Now, everybody, this is the the grand finale of the show that we're coming up on here. Originally, we were going to do this. I was going to do this part first, the UFO that I had seen. Ultimately, though, I feel like it's better because of the pictures, because this isn't like a fucking drawing that I have here. This is an actual detail. I mean, well, they're not all high detailed, but when you get the story behind it and you do see the couple of the detailed pictures, it's enough to fucking make you go, holy shit. The events of the story of which I'm about to tell you took place roughly September 15th, maybe September 17th, mid-September 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of the time of year. I can't remember if it was fall or spring. It may have been... It was fall. If it was September, what the fuck am I thinking? Fall. Meh. It was... I went out to the lake a lot.
Looks like there's an orb within that orb.
Oh, that's right. You can still see that. I bounced that off of them. Actually, that is a really blurry... I took that off of them so I could reset. But, yeah, everybody, let me go ahead and take... Yeah, I like going out to the lake. I like to go fishing. I like to go... And, I mean, like, I should have a fucking picture up, but I don't. When I go out there, I don't just go out there and, like, walk around with my thumb up my ass, you know. No, I have my gear on me. I'm well prepared out there. I'm certainly not afraid of anything coming at me out there, not in the slightest. I've seen a lot of shit out there. I could tell you some weird fucking stories that occurred to me out by that lake over and over again. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this summer coming up, and I plan on going back out there again because it's been a couple years, and I wouldn't mind get out there hunting again. And no, when I say hunting and fishing, here's a cool thing. First of all, I don't hunt, like actually hunt, like you're thinking like animals, have to go get a hunting license, killing, you know, field trip. No, none of that. I don't need to kill, so I don't do so. Fishing, I don't even fish. Here's a fun fact about me. All that time that I was fishing and shit, all those years, just so everybody knows, this is probably fucking twisting people. They'd be like, what? It's never using hooks. All I did was tie a weight to the end and fucking cast. It was like therapy. It was very therapeutic. Just sit out there and fucking cast all day. And then you know what though? That my line gets snagged. I fucking lose it, because like that fucking lake, whatever, something catches on a log. I'm not out $10, $15 on a fucking lure. I'm out like a nickel. So, and then I get to continue on with my therapeutic casting. That's fucking great. Although, funny enough, I still have to get a fishing license to do that. So, but I mean, obviously makes sense. Anyway, so there was this one night that I went out there, and what I'm about to show y'all, it wasn't in the sky for 10 minutes. It wasn't in the sky for fucking 30 minutes. It wasn't in the sky for an hour or 2 hours. This fucking thing outlasted me, and I got there at like 2 a.m. Maybe sooner than that. I don't know. I do know for at least 5 to 6 hours at the minimum, this thing stayed in the sky. Now, the brightness, unfortunately, I do apologize because some of these pictures, mind you, I believe this was on an iPhone 6 that I took these pictures. They're not the best, but I mean, this one's blurry. I'll tell you that right now. You said it looks like something. Well, this thing is completely blurred right now. What you're thinking of, you may be like, well, that's the moon, or that's a star. Actually, this night was fucking clear. It was very clear in the sky. You could see anything. There were stars all through the sky. There was a moon out even.
What's the distance on this?
Man, not far. Not as far as you would think. At first, I thought it was pretty far off and just coming at me. So the distance, I was never able to get a solid fix. However, the end pictures will actually give you an idea of the actual distance, how far away it was from me, by the end, at least. It wasn't fast moving either. And before you think, it's again, I'll say, it's not a star. It's not the moon. And I'm going to prove that to you because you're going to see it in the daylight, too. Because I even have pictures of it in the fucking daylight. Legitimately. This thing, it started off as I'm sitting there, 1:30, whatever, in the morning. Mind you, the town behind me, which is probably about 5, not even 5 miles, it's just a few miles away. They have an airport there. A small airport, a very small airport, but they have an airport nonetheless. I'm standing on the edge of the coast here, whatever the bank into the lake, and I was pretty much fishing, and I seen this light come over, and there's a little bit more a finer picture of it. Again, when I emphasize how stars and the moon were out, you don't realize this. Cameras can't, especially then, you had to have even to this day, you have to have a really nice camera to be able to take pictures of the stars. Okay? It ain't just fucking happening. Not all the stars, and the moon included, you cannot see them in these pictures. That fucking thing, you seen it. You seen it. Like I said, when I first seen it coming up, I literally thought, the pictures don't do it justice. I thought there was a plane coming towards the airport, and it just happened to maybe have its lights at me, its headlight. I was like, wow, man. I'm like, that thing isn't coming right at me, is it? Because it was fucking bright as shit. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I'm watching, and I'm watching. And the brightness of it, I was like, that plane's got to be just coming straight, I got to be lined up with it just perfectly to be watching it at this brightness. Well, after about a half hour or so, I realized that's not a fucking plane coming at me. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's a helicopter. Maybe it's a helicopter with a fucking spotlight. Maybe they're looking for somebody in the woods. Maybe, somebody's either lost or there's somebody that's running from the cops. There is an endless round, there's still all sorts of ideas of what that could fucking be. And so now my mind's, it's a chopper. It's a helicopter. I'm like, but that's weird though, man. I'm like, that motherfucker just hanging there, and it was quiet. There wasn't noise. There was no chopper noise. There was no engines ever heard. Ever. So, let's see if I can kind of bring this up a little bit. So, I don't think... Yeah, in this picture you can't see it, but I do know for a fact I do have a picture where this motherfucking thing is so bright you will actually be able to see the gleam of light going across the lake from it.
I see a little bit of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You can see the very edge of it right down here on the bottom of the... That is actually the gleam of the... of whatever the fuck that is. It is so bright. It is casting reflection off the lake. Mind you, this... you'll see also when it gets bright, you'll see what's above this, right? Right below this. This thing is damn near right above the trees. I mean, to a degree, it seems like it's right above the trees. Now, I think it ascended through the night. I think it went up higher. Let's go ahead and get to the next picture. See, here we go. We got another blurry. But, you know what? Even in that blurry... No, wait, no, never mind. That's just it's dust on my screen. Here you go. So this is a water spout, or it's a drain, whatever. I guess for overflow, whatever. Damn it. But this, here you go. Here's that light again, solid, and there's that beam coming across. I mean, that fucking thing went across the lake. The only reason why you're not seeing it as brilliant as I did is just the cameras at night do not take pictures. You know, I was using my fucking phone camera. Give me a break. You know, people, anybody out there bitching, give me a break. Sorry, I don't have the screen pulled up either for chat. I guess I should be looking to see if there's anybody chatting by chance. No, there's not, so I'm just going to keep on going. Anyways. So we have this bright-ass fucking light.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Here's another good one. That's when it, started feeling like it was getting closer and closer and closer. And it did. It got fucking close, dude. It got fucking super close from where it started off, and it slowly moved around. I know somebody's out there going, it's a star, you fucking jack off. It's the fucking moon. It's, it's fucking Jupiter. You're fucking stupid, and I'm going to prove you on that one. Because, first of all, that doesn't even look anywhere close to a star if that's what you're thinking. That thing is way too big, and that fucker is too bright and too low. The tree line is literally right there.
I already know, because when you take a picture of the moon, it comes out hella blurry and messed up. You barely can capture it. And it's over brightened because...
This thing's blurry, but you can still see a slight shimmer right through there.
The darkness against the light makes everything look hella crazy.
Still, I mean, this is just on the other side of the lake, which is like a half mile wide.
Right.
And so that thing's maybe 3/4 to a mile, maybe a mile and a half at most away from me. I can't tell you the elevation of it. It's above the tree line, but it ain't far from me at this point.
Maybe 150 feet up.
Here we go, folks. Here's your star. Here's your moon in the daylight. And even more so, I went ahead and took a picture with it. So you can see me, right? And at first, I was just taking pictures, but, I noticed something later on, and you won't see it till about one of the end pictures.
It's not perfectly round.
Oh, it gets... This is again, a blurry one. This is one of the blurry ones. Just wait, man.
But that doesn't look perfectly round.
No, it doesn't. It almost looks like it's giving off energy. Almost like it's pulsing or something. I mean, I don't know how... Obviously, we're not seeing it moving, but...
But look how, it almost has one side that looks slightly darker on the edge on the right.
Oh, wait till you see the center. Because we're going to see the center of it. Legitimately, we are going to see the center of it.
It almost looks like it has some sort of darkness in the center. It's creepy looking.
Yep. Here we go. Here's another quite zoomed in photo. Like I said, mid-September 2015 over Litchfield fucking Lake. Huh?
Drones weren't popular?
What was?
Drones.
It's not a drone.
You don't think?
That's not a drone.
2015, people didn't really use them too much, did they?
Bro. It's just been floating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see where that is? How high up it is? Earlier in the night, it was like down here. It was like hanging over the tree line and stuff.
Right,
And, you know, some people may be thinking, well, you've seen it off at a further distance before it made it there. So it seemed like it was lower.
Where were you now in this picture?
I was still on the bank. I actually did not move more than probably 40, 50 yards back and forth on the bank, watching this thing all night. I went ahead and dismissed fishing and anything else. And I just sat there and kept an eye on that and, you know, hand on a sword just in case something tried to abduct my ass.
What's the light at the
without
bottom?
asking
like
nicely first. Anyways, I'm sorry, what?
Is that the sun coming up towards the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
This
below
is
it?
daybreak, dude.
Interesting.
That was like before 2 o'clock. The first ones I was showing you.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking daybreak. This is like 6 a.m., 6:30. You know, fucking lights coming up. Go ahead and have another one up here where it's just like ominously hanging over me the whole fucking night. Now, this is where the magic starts to happen. I know the picture seems a little darker. This is one of the high def ones.
It doesn't look like circular all the way.
This is one of those pictures that where somebody would be like, yeah, dude, that's totally something up in, you know, that's not in our atmosphere. Slow down. Check
The
this
image
out.
got higher looking.
Yeah, I did. It's elevating. It's raising up. That's what I mean. Like, as these pictures go on, that thing gets higher and higher up like it's leaving. But you know what the real kicker is about this, though? What side of those clouds that fucking thing is on? That's on our side. That's on our side, dude. I do believe it's the next one that we should be able to get so fucking close to it in depth and look in detail that you'll be able to see the center of it and what possibly is around it. But yeah, it started off down here and has slowly worked its way up through the night. And it's not just straight up either. I mean, it went out here, it came back, it's moved around. See, is this one of my super high def ones? I don't know. I mean, when I say super high def, I mean, I'm limited here, but I know one, I was able to blow it up to the point to where the center actually had a black, you know, it was 4 pixels, but it's 4 pixels that are black in the center. How is that possible? That means there's a mass there. You can't see it in this picture. It's not there yet. Apparently, I've got a few more that I didn't. I think I may have got ahead of myself. Yeah, I did. I sure did. So these weren't the super high def ones I thought we were getting. These are the ones that I was... Are you seeing it? Get a little bit more.
Yeah. There still is like some blackness around it too. Like.
Mm-hmm. And it just hangs out. It's just a fucking glowing orb. I mean, it's not a perfect circle, no, but it's a fucking glowing orb, and it fucking hung out over my ass for fucking. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Get ready. Get it ready, everybody. You about to get your tickle on. Fucking check the shit out. Zoom in. This is probably the best picture of it that I have. This is my number one fucking best photo.
Good thing you kept taking pictures to see, like...
Dude, do you see this?
Oh, this is the donut one, yeah.
Dude.
I've seen other people take pictures of something similar.
Let's bring it in a little bit more. How about that, kiddos? You know what? I can do one better for the folks at home. Hold on, let me see here. Let me do a little trickery, a little magic here.
You know, I've heard about some of this is them, whatever you want to call them, extraterrestrials, pretending to be stars, and they mimic them kind of, so we wouldn't pay much attention. You know.
Well, I watched this thing zigzag above the treetops, so. And I mean, when I say zigzag, I don't mean like it was like meow meow. No, this thing slowly drifted through the night, and they would turn, slowly drift. Like kind of what you're saying, mimicking almost like slow movement, like a star.
Yeah, like it was trying to
hide
watch
and
you.
just observe.
Yeah, without being noticed.
How creepy is that? What the fuck if it really was watching me? What the fuck are they watching me for?
It looks like it's pointing directly at you.
Like this maniac's running around. Look at this fucking crazy
There's
guy.
more blackness around it in this one.
That's
too.
what I'm saying. You can see in the center, man. You can on.
That too, for sure.
See, there is a mass in the center of that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. I never heard of anything. I never heard anybody talking about it. Did I go and report it? No, I didn't. But what's the fucking point? Because they're going to tell me you didn't see nothing. Hell, if anything, that could have got me some negative attention. It's probably going to give me some negative attention now. I love you, everybody. If something, let me just say, I am not suicidal. Let me say that.
It looks
right
like
now.
a flying donut.
It does. It is something very, very bizarre. I don't even know where to begin with it. It's just like, and like the people at home, man, they're getting it like supersized right now. Fuck, hold on.
Well, I'm getting even more because I can zoom in myself while you have it zoomed in. Yeah.
Well, that's basically what I did. I just expanded the screen that I was
right
showing them.
Almost like you
that's
can
it,
see
everybody.
it moving through the cloud too.
That's my UFO for you. That's my donut in the sky, my glowing fucking donut in the sky that watched me for like 5.5, 7 hours. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it didn't watch me. Maybe that's just all in my. No, I'm pretty sure it watched me, considering I took pictures of it throughout the night. No, that was something that popped in my head. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wait. What if it snagged my ass and I took pictures on it on the way of it leaving and before it got there, and I just like.
Never knew. Yeah.
Didn't realize when it No, I was actually fully unconscious and alert the whole fucking time. And I mean, I was on. You know what? There's another thing. People talk about, if they get abducted, how they're kind of like neutralized.
Mm-hmm.
How weird would that be? If that's what they were trying to do to me. They're like, this fucking prick, it isn't working. What the fuck? I turned it up to 11.
Interesting photos right there for sure.
I'm bewildered by them. I don't know. If you've got anything, if you've seen anything, what do you think it is? What do you think it is out there? I mean, I'm going to be leaving this episode up, of course, so you can review and check it out later, of course. I say UFO, alien spacecraft of some sort. I've never seen anything in our stuff. I mean, granted, there's got to be things out there that we don't get to see, get tested.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just never seen anything like this.
Right.
Oh, and to top it off too, like, hold on a second, let me kind of drag this back down.
Was it staying up into the clouds like it was trying to?
Mm-hmm. This is under the clouds. Mm-hmm. At this point, this is still under the clouds. Completely, it's in our atmosphere.
Right.
Whatever it may be, it's hanging out, and it was interested in me. Apparently, a lot of shit's interested in me. I don't fucking know why.
Have you gone back to this area?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't. I've yet to ever see that again. God. If that'd be the case, I'd be like signaling flashlights. Come fucking on, man. Get me out of this motherfucker. Come on. What are you doing? Right here. No, there was one other thing that I did see out there come in the sky. That was really weird. It wasn't like that, but it was over at the other marina, because that right there where I'm at is Marina 2. Marina 1, where I was at, and I was hanging out. I was stargazing with somebody, and the best way I could describe this thing, as far as shape coming in, when it came in, first of all, it had a green burn around it, like when it was entering atmosphere, it had a green burn, which usually I don't often see green burning, but whatever. I know all sorts of stuff enters the, things burn up differently, give off different colors.
Gases or something.
And the only thing was, though, this thing it was big. I mean, it was like really big in the sense of like I was able to, with naked eye at night, be able to tell you that it looked, the best way I could describe it in shape would look like a Star Destroyer. From Star Wars, like the big long ones that are like, meh, like that, that's kind of the shaping, how it looked. And at first, this wasn't a meteorite either, or whatever. It wasn't, because it came in so far burning, and then it just went, meow. It just fucking kept going. The thing that kind of gets me, though, is how well I was able to spot detail on that.
Yeah.
Implying that it had to be pretty fucking big, especially at night. For me to be able to oh, it's this shape, load up and going, yeah. Look at that fucking giant ship. It was definitely bigger than any airplane that we fucking have in the air. I guarantee you that. But yeah, that'd be the other thing, the other strange thing that I've seen enter into the atmosphere or pop up around this lake. I mean, as far as in the sky, there's so much stuff out there. Matter of fact, you ever come out here? We're going out there monster hunting one night.
Hell yeah.
Well, I think that's it for us, everybody. I think we've covered the ghost stories and the UFO stories, and I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. Hope definitely made you raise your eyebrow and go, "Holy shit!" Tell me what you thought in the comments. Comments in the comics. Tell me what you thought in the funnies. Anyways, now let me know your thoughts below. I'm always happy to have someone else's opinion. So, I'm Grave Knives.
I'm Grave Dank.
From the grave
to the grave.
We are True Grave. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later.